6 scientists vanished beneath the Antarctic ice, erased without a trace, their minds hijacked by something ancient and merciless. The signal that took them didn't just control, it rewrote them, turning grief and memory into weapons. But Madison Chen did what no one else could. She heard the call and still said no. And now you won't believe how far she had to go to make sure it never calls again. 3:17 a.m. The final log pulsed through the comms before cutting into static. Lights below the ice, vibrations increasing. Carter says we're not alone. After that, silence. 8 months later, the Nordfold Glacier groaned under the weight of a new season, its surface fractured like ancient glass. A military-grade drone buzzed overhead, infrared scanner slicing through layers of snowpack. Then froze. 6 heat signatures, human, perfectly spaced, circling 40 meters below, moving in sync like puppets on invisible strings. Lieutenant Jonas Vargas stood on the threshold of Aurora Base. His breath steamed in the -40 air. He touched his earpiece. "We're in position," he said. "Copy," came the reply from the support team. "Proceed with extreme caution." The door creaked as he pushed it open. Inside, lights still flickering, radiators humming. The air reeked of stale coffee and melted plastic. He moved quietly. Every boot step echoed too loud in the empty corridor. "I don't like this," he muttered. Behind him, Madison Chen stepped in. Compact, fast, eyes scanning everything. She said nothing for a moment, then pointed at the boots by the entrance. 6 pairs, neatly lined, no snow on them, no sign they'd been worn recently. Jonas bent down. Still warm. Madison frowned. Carter's size. Why would his boots be warm if he vanished 8 months ago? Or did he? The hallway split left toward the comms room. Jonas took the lead. The base felt like it had been paused mid-breath. A laptop blinked in sleep mode. Coffee in a thermos was half drunk. Oatmeal clung to a spoon like someone just stepped away. "I thought this place was abandoned," Madison said. It was, officially. Resupply never happened. No outgoing transmissions. All 6 tagged MIA. Then explain why the furnace is running and the electric grid hasn't failed. Jonas stopped outside the bunk room. The door stood ajar. "Explain that," he said. Madison peered in. Beds perfectly made, folded blankets, pillows indented as if heads had just lifted. But one bed had something extra. A sketchbook. Pages torn, symbols etched in charcoal, triangles inside circles. A pattern repeated again and again. A name on the back, Dr. Lydia Shams. "She was a biophysicist," Madison whispered. "Why's she drawing cult symbology?" "Because she wasn't anymore." Jonas stepped over to the med station. The freezer buzzed. Inside, all blood bags were thawed, dripped dry. Unlabeled vials were scattered across the floor. A recorder blinked red. He pressed play. Static. Then a voice, soft, almost childlike. 1 becomes 6. 6 becomes 1. Beneath the ice, we remember. Madison recoiled. What the hell was that? Jonas said nothing. He walked straight to the server room. The door required a 4-digit code. He typed Carter's badge number. It opened. Madison's mouth twitched. "Why'd you know that?" "Because Carter's not just another researcher," Jonas said. "He was my field contact, embedded." "You're telling me he was military?" "No, worse. He was freelance." Inside, cables twisted like veins. Monitors flickered with corrupted feeds. Security cameras showed only static, except one. Sub-level corridor. A door marked Cryo 3 blinked in amber. The timestamp? Today. 10 minutes ago. Madison stared. "There's no Cryo 3 on the blueprints?" "Then we found something we weren't supposed to." She moved to the backup logs, fingers flying. Jonas checked his sidearm. "Don't go rogue," Madison snapped. "I don't intend to," he muttered. "But if one of them's still here, he's not what he was." Suddenly the lights dimmed.
Emergency red flooded the hall. A door slammed down the corridor. Madison froze. "Did you see that?" Jonas grabbed his comms. Base breach, possible survivor, or intruder. Then the hallway speakers crackled. A voice, not from any human throat, whispered through metal. "You shouldn't have come." Jonas turned. The entrance door was sealed. Backup team, radio silent. Madison looked at him, her voice low. "Jonas, we're not alone in here." He nodded. "We were never alone." And the ice outside groaned again, long, low, and unmistakably alive.
The logs were stored in a rust-stained metal case beneath Lydia's bunk. Jonas cracked it open with a crowbar. Inside, digital drives, one for each day. They started playback. Day 1, Carter's voice, relaxed, confident. Arrival smooth, base is stable, seismic grid coming online, already picking up some noise. He chuckled. Underground hums, weirdly consistent, about 4 hertz. Maddie'd say it's nothing, but this one vibrated my teeth. Madison stood silent, arms folded, no smile. Day 5, Lydia spoke. Lights flickered last night, power relays fine, no wind event, just cold, like something sucked the heat out. The logs got darker. Day 11, Carter again. Seismic spikes, same rhythm, same intervals. I started tapping my pen to it without realizing. Now we all do. A pause, then quieter. I had a dream last night. The ice opened. We were inside it. Day 16. "This is Lydia," she said. Her voice trembled. "We saw movement under the north field. 8 shapes, not 6, 8. But nobody else is here." Jonas leaned forward. "Rewind." Madison shook her head. "No need. I heard it too." Then came day 22, the last log, only audio. Static, then Lydia screaming, then chanting. 6 voices, perfectly in sync. A phrase repeated in a language no one recognized, circular, hypnotic. "Play it again," Jonas said. Madison slapped the stop key. "Absolutely not." Her voice cracked. "That sound, it's wrong. It's not just saying something, it's asking for something." One of the techs, a kid named Reno, spoke up. "My headphones picked up a tail signal. There's something embedded under the chanting, like a second voice, whispering under them." "Filter it out," Jonas said. "No." Reno stared at the screen like it might bleed. "I did. I shouldn't have. It said my name." Madison turned to him. "What do you mean it said your name?" "I mean it knew it, spelled it, paused, said, 'Reno, help us come through.'" No one moved. Jonas stepped back from the console. "Kill the log." Reno hesitated, but kill it now. He unplugged the drive. That night, the drone team huddled in the control trailer, reviewing satellite logs from the last 3 weeks, heat scans, motion capture. What they saw should have been impossible. 6 thermal shapes, human-sized, moving 40 meters beneath the glacier, walking in a perfect circle, separating at times, always returning, sometimes faster, sometimes slow, but always intentional. One of the techs gagged, another threw up in a bucket. Then Madison saw it. "Stop, rewind frame 403. The circle broke. A 7th figure stepped in, same size, same heat, no signature ID tag. "Wait," Jonas muttered, "that's not one of ours." "No," Madison said, "that's no." They tracked the signature for 2 minutes. It stood still, surrounded by the 6, then merged into the ring, vanished. Reno whispered, "That's when it became 7. Jonas stared at the screen. "No, that's when it became 1. Next morning, they found new prints near the comm station. Not boot prints. Bare feet, pressed into ice, leading nowhere.
What made the scientists stop being individuals and become part of something else?
"We're not dealing with a missing persons case," Jonas said. His voice was flat, cold, final. Madison stared at him across the mess table. "Then what the hell are we dealing with?" He didn't blink. Containment breach. A breach of what? He didn't answer. The next morning, they took the snowmobiles toward the ridge, the same ridge where the drone caught movement under 40 meters of ice. As they approached, their radios howled, ears split. One of the techs dropped to his knees, clutching his head. Then, silence. The ice beneath them cracked. Not wide, not loud, just a hairline fracture. A hiss escaped, like breath from something buried. Then it opened. A fissure, maybe a foot wide. And from the dark, a boot rose. Just the heel. Just long enough to see it. Then, gone. "Fall back," Jonas barked. Everyone stepped back. Except Madison. She stepped forward. Because she saw it. A triangle, threaded in black, slashed through the middle. Carter's symbol. He used to draw it in the corners of her notebooks. Said it meant begin again. She dropped to her knees beside the fissure. "Madison, stop!" Jonas shouted. But she didn't hear him. Because the ice spoke. A whisper slid from the darkness. Soft, crooked, wrong. "I can still hear you, Maddie." She froze. The voice was Carter's. Not imitated, Matt replicated. Him. "Do not engage," Jonas barked. "Step away from the ice." She leaned closer. "Carter?" Her voice cracked. "What happened to you?" The answer came like thunder, echoing from the depths of the earth. "We never left." Jonas grabbed her by the collar, yanked her back. She stumbled, eyes wide. "Let me go." But he didn't. "You heard that," she gasped. "I heard a thing using Carter's voice. It was him." Jonas pulled her closer. "That is not the man you loved." She shoved him off. "You don't get to tell me who he is." "He's gone." She pointed at the fissure, then explained the voice. Jonas stayed silent for too long. Madison narrowed her eyes. "You knew. You've heard it before." He looked away. She stepped closer, voice rising. "You came out here with a team you didn't warn. You put us in this. For what?" "For clarity," he snapped. "For proof." "You risked us all to chase a whisper?" Jonas locked eyes with her. "Because I had to know if it could reach someone else." Madison's breath caught. "Someone else? You mean it spoke to me 8 months ago." Madison backed away. "You've been lying since day one." "No, I've been shielding you." She almost slapped him. Then the fissure yawned wider. A pulse rose up through the glacier. The wind stopped. The snow went still. And a second voice whispered from below. This time, not Carter. This one was hers. "Madison." She turned white. Jonas froze. "What did it say?" She shook her head. "It was me." He stared at her. "It used my voice." The fissure sealed with a sudden crack, like nothing had ever opened. No movement, no heat signature. Just silence. Jonas whispered, "Whatever's down there, it listens." Madison touched her chest. "No, it remembers." Back at base, she locked herself in the lab, played old voice memos from Carter, compared timbre, cadence, breathing. It matched, down to the microsecond. Jonas stood outside the door. "You're not thinking clearly." "No," she said, "I'm thinking exactly clearly." That's his voice, not mimicked, not copied. "You heard it because you wanted to hear it." She turned. "You didn't hear it because you buried him." He lowered his eyes. "I heard it. I just chose not to believe." Madison stepped closer. "Then start choosing again." He didn't respond. She whispered, "I'm going back. Then I can't protect you."
Maybe I don't want protection. The lights flickered. The base groaned. A new log appeared on the terminal. Timestamp, now. Sender, Lydia Shams. Subject, you're almost here. She clicked it open. It was just audio. Her own voice. Come see Maddie. I remember you. Then static. And then 6 words. Soft, final, unified. We're ready for you this time.
Madison didn't sleep, not even a minute. She sat in the corridor outside the med bay, arms wrapped around herself, replaying Carter's voice in her head. That exact rasp, that pause before her name, that old guilt in his breath. It was him. Jonas found her pacing, fingers twitching like live wires. "You think he's alive?" he said. He didn't sound surprised. Madison didn't look at him. He knew things, details no one else could fake. Jonas crossed his arms. "Then answer me this. If he's alive, why the hell hasn't he come up?" She stopped walking. "Maybe he can't." She didn't say it, she whispered it. "Maybe he can't." At dawn, the drone team deployed a thermal probe. Small, spiked, designed to melt down slowly. It hit solid ice at 12 meters. Then dropped. No resistance, just void. "Hollow chamber," one of the engineers muttered. "Under the glacier. Artificial pocket, not natural formation." Jonas stared at the screen. "How big?" "Big enough to stand in," the tech said. "Maybe live in." The probe descended further. Then the feed cut. Not to black, to one still image. 6 figures. Human, naked, eyes wide open, staring straight at the camera. Lips moving in sync. No sound, no background, just that one frozen frame. "Freeze that," Madison ordered. The screen already was. She stepped closer. Her voice broke. "That's Lydia." She pointed. "And that's Carter." Jonas said nothing. The image flickered once, then disappeared. "No signal," the engineer muttered. "It's not a transmission problem. Something shut us out." "Backtrace the last milliseconds," Jonas said. "Check for signal anomalies." They did. Found one. An embedded code sequence inside the thermal stream. 6 pulses, repeating. Not binary, not encryption. A musical scale. F minor. Chanted rhythm. 6 tones, again and again. "It's not random," Madison said. "It's a message." Jonas looked at her. "You think they're trying to talk to us?" "I think," she said, "they already are." Back in the lab, Madison isolated the image, scanned each face, each pair of unblinking eyes, and found something new. In Carter's left hand, a shape, barely visible, a rectangle. She enhanced the contrast. It was a photograph of her, taken 6 years ago. She stumbled back from the screen. Jonas rushed in. "What?" Her voice cracked. "He's holding a photo of me." "Impossible." "No," she said. "It's from our cabin trip. He took it. I never posted it, never shared it." Jonas stepped closer. "Then how the hell is he holding it now?" Silence. Then Madison whispered, "Because he chose to take it with him." 8 months ago? "No," she said. 6 years ago." Jonas turned pale. "You're saying he brought it before the base went dark?" "No," she whispered. "I'm saying he brought it back." That night, she sat in the signal room alone. Every speaker was silent. She pressed her palm against the console. "Carter," she whispered. "Can you hear me?" Silence. Then static. Then 6 voices. Not screaming, not distorted. Harmonizing. A melody. F minor. Same 6 tones. She covered her ears, but the sound wasn't coming from speakers anymore. It was inside her. She slammed the emergency shutoff. Silence again.
Jonas burst in. What the hell was that? They sang, she whispered, like a lullaby. They're baiting you. No, she said, they're calling me. He grabbed her wrist. You're not going down there. I have to. They're not human anymore. She stared at him. That doesn't mean they're gone. Then the lights cut. Total black. Emergency power clicked on. Only one system booted, the live drone feed. It showed one thing, the hollow under the ice. Now empty. No figures, no circle, just the word open, burned into the bottom of the ice in 6 perfect letters. What does it mean? One of the texts asked. Madison didn't blink. It means, she said, they're done waiting.
The team cracked, one by one. Reno wouldn't sleep, just stared at his hands, muttering numbers. Simmons locked herself in the comms room, whispering into dead mics. The engineer, Mark, walked into a snowbank barefoot before Jonas tackled him and dragged him back. "Something's leaking up," Jonas muttered. "Something in the frequency." He ordered evacuation. "All personnel, pack everything. We're sealing this site." Madison blocked the exit. "We can't leave." Jonas turned on her. "Watch me." She shoved a drive into his chest. "This footage, the probe, Lydia's face, you saw it. You know they're still alive." "They're not alive. Not like us. You don't get to decide that." Jonas shoved her back. "This base is done. We burn the logs, we bury the truth. This never happened." "Those were your friends." "No." His voice cracked. "They were my friends. That's not the same." He stormed out. Madison didn't follow. Instead, she flew to Oslo. 3 days later, she sat across from Dr. Evelyn Cross, former neurobiologist, retired after publishing one paper too far. She'd once been called brilliant, now unstable. But Madison didn't care. She needed unstable. Evelyn watched the drone footage in silence, froze it on Lydia's face. Mouth open, eyes locked, pupils pin-pricked. Evelyn leaned in. "This isn't psychosis," she whispered. "Then what is it?" "Entrainment." "Explain." "Humans sync to rhythm, music, chants. It's why crowds move as one. But this," she tapped the screen, "this is mass entrainment, full override. Something is rewriting them." "Brainwashing?" Evelyn shook her head. "No. Brainwashing breaks identity. This replaces it." She turned up the volume. The static under the footage wasn't random. It pulsed, every 4 seconds. Low-frequency rhythm, around 4 hertz. That's theta wave range, the dream state. "Meaning?" Evelyn looked at her. "They're not dreaming. They're being dreamed." Madison went cold. What could even do that? Evelyn didn't blink. Something old, something not made of thought, but pattern, something that doesn't speak, just vibrates. They said a 7th entered. Then it's spreading. Madison stood. "Can it be reversed?" Evelyn hesitated. "If the source is removed, maybe. And if it's not?" Evelyn stared at the freeze frame. "Then whoever goes next won't come back." Madison returned to Aurora Base. Jonas was gone. Evac complete. Every system off. Only Madison's codes worked now. She powered up the server. Played Lydia's last log. The chanting had changed. Now it was her name. Soft, unending. Maddie, Maddie, Maddie. She shut it off. Then she saw the message, burned into the monitor's corner. 6 letters. Welcome. The lights flickered. The bass groaned. She whispered, "I'm still here." And something under the ice answered with silence too loud to ignore. Madison returned alone. No escort, no comms, no backup. Just her, a tracker beacon, and frost-bitten resolve. She crossed the glacier ridge at 2:14 a.m. The sky was a mouth, Black, silent, infinite. Then the whispering started. Louder now, layered. 6 voices, perfect harmony, no echo, no air. Below is silence, above is noise. Choose. She stepped forward. The wind screamed, tearing through her coat like needles. The fissure reopened, just wide enough to threaten. Then something moved. From the deep, Carter rose. Slow, graceful, inhuman. His skin shimmered like shattered glass. Cracks across his collarbone caught the moonlight. But his eyes were still his. "Maddie," he whispered. She gasped. "Carter." "Come see," he said. Her knees buckled. She dropped to the ice, reached toward him. And then, impact. Jonas tackled her sideways. She screamed, "Get off me!" He dragged her back from the edge. Carter's face twisted, his jaw unlatched, splitting down the middle like melting porcelain. Rows of something wrong glinted in his mouth. "You have no idea what you're inviting," Jonas shouted. Madison kicked free. "I saw him." "No," Jonas said. "You saw its version of him." He opened his hand. Inside, a bloody earpiece. She froze. "I went down yesterday," he said. "He told me to stay. I barely made it out." She stumbled backward. "You lied to me." He nodded. "Because you weren't ready." "Ready for what?" she snapped. Jonas didn't answer. Instead, he knelt beside the fissure. The voices fell silent. "Jonas," she said. He pulled something from his coat. A small metal cube, marked with the same triangle and line symbol Carter used. "I found this in the chamber," Jonas said. "They weren't prisoners. They were pilgrims." "Pilgrims," she whispered. "To what?" He looked up. "To themselves." She backed away. "You sound like them." "No," he said. "I sound like me for the first time in years." The ice cracked again. Madison turned toward the fissure. Carter was gone. But something watched, just below the surface. A shape, faceless, shifting. "Why didn't you tell me before?" she asked. Jonas stood. "Because I was trying to forget." He stepped closer. "But then I saw it." "Saw what?" He pointed toward the glacier's heart. "A mirror." She blinked. "What does that mean?" He whispered. "It means the voice isn't foreign. It's ours." Then handed her the cube. "It's a key," he said, "but not to open them, to open you." She dropped it. It landed flat. Instantly, the glacier beneath them pulsed. Once. Then again. Rhythmic. Jonas smiled. "They know you're ready now." Madison stared into the abyss. "I don't know who I am anymore." Jonas touched her shoulder. "You're about to find out." Then his pupils dilated. Lips moved without sound, as if someone else was speaking through him. Madison backed away. "Jonas?" He collapsed to the ground, eyes wide, silent. The wind died. The voices returned. One word. "Begin." They moved camp half a mile east. No announcement, no discussion. Just tents packed, towers disassembled, coordinates updated. Madison stormed into Jonas's tent at midnight. "Why the relocation?" He didn't look up from his map. "Because I don't want to hear it anymore." "Hear what?" "The hum." "You mean the vibrations?" He shook his head. "No, the voice behind them." She stepped closer. "You said I'm ready. Ready for what, Jonas?" He finally looked at her, then handed her a folder. Thin, stamped Classified, Vox Initiative. She opened it. Satellite maps, sonar readouts, declassified memos, dated 1999. At the center of every page, Aurora Base. But not her Aurora Base. Older, smaller, marked OB1. Jonas pointed to the blueprints. That station wasn't built for climate. Then what was it for? Listening. Listening to what? He tapped a waveform chart. Low-frequency anomalies. Patterns from under the Antarctic plate. Measured once every 27 hours. Not seismic, not random.
Madison studied the graph. Are you saying someone's transmitting? Jonas didn't blink. I'm saying something woke up. She froze. You mean recently? He exhaled. It's always been awake. But now it knows we're listening. Madison flipped through more documents. One memo stood out, handwritten from a Dr. R.P. Cole, dated 1999. Pattern matches confirmed, 6 harmonic intervals. Response time, 4.2 seconds. Warning issued. Site abandoned. Site abandoned? Madison asked. You mean? They shut it down, Jonas said, but not before someone made contact. Who? He hesitated. My brother. Madison's breath caught. You had a brother on the team? Jonas nodded. Lead sonar analyst. His name was Caleb. She sat down. What happened to him? He stopped speaking in English, Jonas said, started humming for 12 hours straight, then walked into the snow barefoot. Did they recover him? They never found his body. Jonas turned away, but I still hear the note he sang. Madison whispered, That's why you came back. I needed to know if it was real, if it spread. And, he looked at her, it's not a virus, Maddie. It's a chorus. She stood. Then why did Carter go down there? He wasn't pulled. What do you mean? Jonas's voice dropped. He volunteered. Madison staggered back. No. He heard the same hum I did, Jonas said, but he followed it. That makes no sense. Jonas handed her another photo. Carter, taken 6 months before the incident. In his hand, the same triangle-inscribed cube. You said you found this last week. I did, Jonas said, but it wasn't the first time I saw it. Madison stared at the image. This goes back further than Aurora. Try decades, try every polar anomaly since the 50s. The wind outside roared suddenly. One of the tents collapsed. Jonas didn't flinch. You hear it too now, don't you? Madison nodded. It's not just under the ice anymore. Jonas whispered, It's in us. She looked at the maps again. All paths led to the same point. One circle, marked in red. Not Aurora. Deeper. Older. Labeled only Origin. She touched the page. What's there? Jonas answered without hesitation. The chamber where it sings. Madison's hands trembled. What happens if we go there? He looked at her, calm, absolute. We stop pretending we're the only ones who remember how to listen. And then, outside, came the hum again. But this time, it answered back.
The files grew darker. Each folder Madison opened led deeper into silence. No photographs, only coordinates, frequencies, names with dates, then blanks. 6-person teams, always 6, dispatched decades apart. Each entry ended the same way. Communication lost, status unrecoverable. She gripped the table. Why always 6? Jonas didn't look up. It's a harmonic structure. What does that mean? It means 6 minds are enough to build a signal loop, to resonate. Resonate with what? He opened a drawer, handed her a cracked cassette, labeled Origin Pulse. She stared at it. What is it? The first confirmed contact, 1973. She slid it into the player. Jonas flinched. Maddie, don't. She hit play. The sound that came wasn't a sound. It was pressure, a crushing depth in the ears, a chorus beneath perception. Not a hum, not a note, a voice, speaking in languages that twisted through her skull like needles. Her vision blurred, nose bled, hands spasmed. And then, she heard her name. Not spoken, thought. She dropped the recorder, fell to her knees, gasping. Jonas rushed to her side. That's what they heard. He lifted the cassette, now vibrating in his hand. And that's why they walked into the ice. She backed away from him. You brought me here to replace them?
He didn't argue. You're the only one who resisted the pull. I didn't resist, she snapped. I followed. You stopped me. Exactly, Jonas said. That's why you're the only one who can go back in and come out. Her hands trembled. You're insane. I'm prepared. For what? To end the transmission. Madison stared at him. You think this is a broadcast? Jonas nodded. It's not a creature. It's not a place. It's a message. And we've been replying for decades. How? By listening. She collapsed onto the cot. This isn't science anymore. It never was, Jonas said. It's architecture. She laughed, broken and sharp. We're trying to map a song, Jonas? No, we're standing inside it. He opened another file. Satellite image, infrared layers, a circle, hundreds of meters wide, 6 corridors branching from its center. He tapped it. This is beneath us right now. Madison whispered. It's a speaker. Jonas met her eyes. It's a mouth. The tent trembled. Madison felt it in her bones first. A low pulse. 4 beats. Then silence. Jonas said, that's the knock. It's asking. Asking what? He leaned in. Are you ready to answer? She didn't respond. Outside, the wind had died completely. Only the pulse remained. 4 beats. Then silence. Again. Then Jonas whispered, you've already heard it, Maddie. You just haven't said yes. She turned away. I'm not leading anyone in. You already are, he said. They're coming. You felt it the second you hit play. She shook her head. I'm not part of this. Jonas stood. Then why did it say your name? She froze. He stepped closer. You think it whispers to just anyone? Her voice broke. I'm not strong enough. He put the cube in her hand. You're the only one left who is. Outside, 6 lights appeared in the fog, moving, converging. They weren't flares. They were signatures. Thermal, human, identical. Madison whispered, those are the last team. Jonas stared into the dark. No, those are the next.
She ran that night. Into the white. No gear, no comms, no direction. Just the pull. The hum wasn't outside anymore. It was inside. Her chest, her ribs, her teeth. Madison tore through the snow like she was chasing her own heartbeat. The cold cut through her like glass. And then she found it. Not a crack, a wound. A fissure in the earth, wide and breathing. The ice pulsed with blue light like a vein stretched too thin. She dropped to her knees. And then, Madison! A whisper, soft, familiar. Madison, we need you. She turned toward the voice. Lydia? Her voice cracked. You're not Lydia. But the reply was slower now, gentler. We remember you. We remember love. That's why we wait. She screamed into the void. You're using her voice. The wind answered with silence. Then, footsteps behind her. She spun. It was Carter, whole again. No frost, no deadness, just him. He looked 20 pounds heavier, warmer, real. You came, he said. I knew you would. Madison stumbled back. What are you? He tilted his head, the way he used to when teasing her. You already know. You're not him. But I remember what he loved, what he feared, what he dreamed about at night. She clenched her fists. You're a parasite. I'm a mirror, he said. You put your grief here. We kept it warm. She looked past him, down into the crevasse. Tell me what's under the ice. He smiled. A signal, a promise, a door that only opens if you believe. And if I don't? Carter shrugged. Then we wait until someone else does. She stepped forward. I want to see. He paused. "Are you sure? I need to know." He offered his hand. She didn't take it. Instead, she walked to the edge alone, looked down. There were faces in the walls, not carved, not frozen, looking back. Lips moving, eyes open, mouths whispering in unison. She heard her name 100 times, soft, gentle. A lullaby in languages she never learned. "You see," Carter whispered, "they're not gone." She whispered, "Why me?" He answered without emotion, "Because you haven't chosen yet." She turned to him, and his face flickered, like static on old tape. His pupils blinked out, just black pits now. She gasped, "You're not him." He nodded, "No, but you could be one of us." She stepped back. The ground cracked beneath her. One breath, then she was falling. Arms out, screaming, and through the wind, through the echo, one voice whispered, "Believe." And she hit black. She woke in light. Not white, not cold, alive. Her lungs filled too easily, her skin didn't burn. Her mind was clear, but vibrating like it had been rewired. She sat up. The cavern around her wasn't made of ice, it was grown, arched and smooth. The walls pulsed with veins of blue and red light, like capillaries in a living thing. Heat radiated from the floor, but the air was still. And in the center, 6 figures, floating, suspended in a slow orbit, like moons caught in gravity, turning, rotating, their arms outstretched. Lydia, Carter, the others, their eyes open, unblinking, their mouths moved in unison, but no sound came out. Until Carter turned. Not just his head, his entire body reoriented toward her, like pulled by a magnetic line. Then, 6 voices from one throat. "Welcome last." Madison scrambled backward, slipping on the glassy ice, her breath jagged. "I'm not part of this." "But you are," they replied. "You heard us, you answered, you fell, and now we show you." "Show me what?" "The origin, the engine, the door." She backed toward the wall, but there was no exit, just seamless pulsing walls of light and heat. "What are you?" They moved in sync. Reflections, echoes, adaptations. We wore flesh, then we shed it. Carter's body moved closer. We were 6, now we are 1. Madison screamed, "Give me back my friends." "They are here," the voices whispered. "They remember you, and they asked us to wait." "For what?" "For you." Suddenly the floor beneath her shimmered, became translucent. The ice turned to glass, and under her feet, a spiral. Thousands of human shapes, perfectly preserved in coils of movement, all turning, all repeating, frozen in gestures, arms lifted, heads tilted, like dancers mid-ritual. Madison dropped to her knees. "This can't be real. They came before you, different centuries, different continents, all drawn by the pulse." She stared down, her mouth dry. "At the center," the voices said, "is the anchor, the first." "The first what?" "The first organ, the source." Then the spiral shifted, a ripple, and from the center of the coil, something emerged. Not crawling, beating, a shape the size of a cathedral, a mass of red and black and blue, pulsing with every vibration. A heart, but wrong, vertical, multi-chambered, spines curling around it like bone. It beat once, the cavern shook. Beat again. Madison clutched her ears. "What is that? What is that?"
Our beginning, they said, and yours. She looked up. Carter's face had changed again, not deformed, incomplete. No mouth, no nose, just eyes, black and endless. Madison cried out, "This is a nightmare. This is inheritance. I won't join you. You already have. No. Then why do you still hear us?" She froze. Because the pulse was inside her now. She couldn't unhear it, couldn't unfeel it. Her hands trembled. "Make it stop. Only if you ask, only if you choose. To forget? To return, alone. And if I stay, you become." She backed away, slipped, fell against the glass. A crack formed beneath her palm. The spiral responded. Thousands of eyes turned upward, all at once. Madison screamed, and the voice said, "You woke the heart." It beat again. The pulse slammed into her skull. Memories, not hers, poured in. Cities underground, choirs of bone, oceans with no surface. She cried, "I'm losing myself." "No," they said, "you're remembering." The six floated downward, surrounded her. Carter reached out, not a hand anymore, a shape, a conduit. "You were never alone, Maddie." And she whispered, "What's the center for?" Carter blinked. "It listens." To what? To who believes. And then the floor shattered beneath her, again. But this time, she didn't scream. She dove, head first, toward the heart, toward the end. Or maybe, toward the beginning.
She screamed, but the sound folded inward, muffled by pressure, swallowed by something ancient. The cavern didn't echo, it absorbed. Then, Jonas's voice, not through her ears, through her skull. Crackling, broken. "Do not trust them. Whatever you see, it's not real." She froze, then heard him again, closer, inside. She turned, and there he was, Jonas, slumped against the ice wall. His body twisted, one leg folded beneath him at an impossible angle. Blood froze at the corners of his mouth. He was half entombed in the translucent surface, like he'd been pulled through and spit back out. "Jonas?" His head lifted slowly. "I came to get you out." She ran to him, slipping on the glass-like surface. "But I waited too long." She grabbed his shoulders. "What happened to you?" "They showed me. They welcomed me. I thought I could resist." His eyes were wet. "I saw my daughter here, Madison. She was 6 again. She laughed like she used to, and then she begged me to stay." Madison clenched her jaw. "How do we stop this?" "You don't." He coughed hard, red across the wall. "You choose what message to bring back." "What the hell does that mean?" He reached into his chest harness, pressed something into her palm. A flare. Old, military issue. The metal was warm from his body, scratched, faint scrawl etched into the casing. "Light this, if you choose silence." She looked at him. His pupils flickered. "They're listening now," he said, "all around us, through us." He locked eyes with her. "If you don't light it, they'll follow you." She turned. The 6 were closer now, floating just above the ice. Their faces elongated, stretched at the cheeks, eyes huge, smiles so wide they tore the skin. They weren't bodies anymore. They were projections of want. "You already know the truth, Maddie," they said as one. She stood. "You are not them. But we remember. We carry their love, their grief, their brilliance. We made them more. You killed them." "No," they said. "We fulfilled them." She took a step forward. "What are you?"
We are what comes when Earth dreams alone too long. Madison tightened her grip on the flare. And you want us to bring you back into the world. We want to return, to be understood, to complete the signal. She took another step. You never left, did you? We never had to. You were always listening. Jonas groaned behind her. I saw too much, he whispered. I know, she said softly. And then, from the ceiling, something opened. Not a crack, a wound. Ribbons of light spilled down, blue, red, and green. They danced across her skin, warm, soothing, deceptive. She heard a sound, a child's laugh. Then her father's voice, I'm proud of you, sweetheart. Then Carter's whisper, we could be whole again. It wasn't coming from the chamber. It was inside her memories, projected, bent, fed back to her. Jonas cried out, no matter what they show you, it's them, all of it. You must choose. She turned the flare in her hand. The cap was fused shut. She'd need force. The voices whispered again. You could be the bridge, Maddie, the door. She closed her eyes. And then she did the unthinkable. She asked, why me? And for once, they hesitated. You listened, they said, and did not obey. That makes you different. Why do you need difference? Because the same always dissolves. Difference binds. She opened her eyes. The figures floated around her now, one by one, their shapes flickering, faces of everyone she loved. Her mother, her sister, her first teacher, all whispering, stay. She snapped the flare open. The hiss of the charge screamed across the chamber. The red flame burned like a beacon. The six recoiled. Jonas wept. You chose silence. She looked at him. No, I chose resistance. The chamber trembled. The spiral below them shuddered. And the heart, the beating thing at the center, paused. Just once. And for a moment, everything stopped. The light, the movement, even the whispers. Then the flare died. Darkness swept in. Jonas coughed again. Now run. Where? Up. The ground began to rise. The ice lifted beneath them, carving a tunnel out of the spiral. Madison grabbed Jonas's arm. He couldn't stand. I'll carry you. No, you're not staying here. He smiled. I was already gone. The last thing he pressed into her hand was his recorder. You're the message now. She nodded, turned, and ran. Up through the ice, toward the noise, toward the pain, toward Earth.
Above the glacier, the wind screamed. The drone team huddled around the monitor, eyes fixed on the thermal feed. 6 signatures circled slowly beneath the ice, unchanging for hours. Then, suddenly, movement. A 7th signature, rising. Holy shit, one technician whispered. Something's coming up. The others leaned in. Red, pulsing, climbing straight toward the surface. And then, boom. A burst of crimson light tore through the snow. The flare. One technician stumbled back. She made it out. They ran. And there, collapsing through the smoke, was Madison. Her parka was shredded, blood on her cheek, hands scraped raw. Her eyes red-veined, distant, like she'd seen 1,000 lives and lived none of them. She fell into the snow, barely conscious. They dropped to their knees around her. Madison! She didn't respond, just whispered, dry, cracked. Seal the crevasse. Don't ever come back. Then she passed out. They lifted her, wrapped her in thermal blankets. No one spoke. No one dared ask. Back at Aurora Base, emergency heat lamps blasted full, oxygen pumped. They laid her on the medbay table, still unconscious. The site commander stared out at the ice ridge. Jonas's signal had never returned. His locator, dead. No traces of the original 6. Just Madison, the only one, the survivor. She woke 2 days later, eyes opening slowly to sterile white light. A nurse leaned in. "You're safe. You're home." Madison didn't answer, didn't blink. She turned her head to the side. Whispers, faint, inside her skull. She clenched her eyes shut. "No," she muttered. The nurse tilted her head. "Ma'am? Get out." "What? Get out!" The glass panel shattered as the machine spiked. 3 medics rushed in. They sedated her. As she slipped under again, she mouthed something, over and over. "Don't open it. Don't open it." A month passed. She was transferred to Oslo. Quiet compound, maximum security. She refused interviews, refused debrief. Until one night, she handed a guard a notebook. It had one sentence written over and over. "The circle grows." They brought it to analysts. No patterns, no code, just repetition. Until the last page, a single map coordinate. The Nordfold Glacier. Same ridge, same spot. A satellite was dispatched. Infrared sweep. The 6 figures still moved, slow, synchronized. But now, a 7th had joined them. It moved in the same rhythm, same trajectory, same pauses and returns, same spiral. And that 7th figure matched Madison's biometrics perfectly. One analyst whispered, "She never came back alone." Another shook his head. "She never came back at all." 6 weeks later, in a private Pentagon briefing, the footage played again. The satellite loop. 7 now, moving in unison. An advisor leaned in to the defense secretary. "What do you want us to do?" He stared at the monitor, silent, then said, "Burn it." But fires don't work on ice, and ice remembers. Because 2 days later, the Nordfold Glacier cracked, just once, barely audible. And something answered back.